Today let us discuss about this hydrostatic law. What exactly the hydrostatic law is? So hydrostatic law, as far as the hydro is considered, that is the water. So static means the fluid is at rest. So as far as the fluid is concerned, when the fluid is concerned at rest, or when the fluid is at rest, the pressure, so the pressure varies only with respect to the height. In a static fluid, how the pressure varies means the pressure only varies with respect to the height. So that is what given by the hydrostatic law. Or if you want to go for the derivations or the theory write-up, so that is the rate of increase of the pressure in a vertical direction is equal to the weight density of the liquid, at that point, right? So this is a principle which identifies the amount of the pressure exerted over that particular fluid from the specific point. So this is simply given by dp is equal to minus rho g minus rho g dh. So minus rho g dh. Now the question comes, why the negative sign is coming? So whenever there is a change in the pressure, there is a difference in the height is also resulting. So that has come from the hydrostatic law, or simply it is P is equal to rho gh. So that means the variables here in this one is, if you are varying the pressure, so that means the height would be varying. So the pressure varies only with respect to the height in a static fluid. So notice this point, I am talking about the static fluid. So that is what the hydrostatic law states. So dp is equal to rho g dh. Okay. So considering this hydrostatic law, let us discuss about the what about our atmospheric variation. So here you can see the atmospheric variation here on the screen. The standard atmospheric variation might be you have done in your environmental studies. So you might have defined the different types of spheres in that one. So the different types of spheres like the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere, right? So these are all the different types of spheres. So how these spheres are named and what exactly this pause means, right? So as far as the spheres and these pauses are considered, so this is depending upon the properties of the fluid at that level. So this is dependent upon the properties of the fluid at that level. Based upon that only they have defined the different spheres or the different layers in the different layers above the height of the earth. These are all above the level of the earth. These are all above the level of the earth. So that means this is the sea level of the earth is being considered here in this one. So this is the sea level of the earth. So this is the sea level of the earth which is considered, and from above the sea level when you are moving, right, above the sea level height when you are moving. So for example, if you are considering this is the earth, let us consider this is the earth, and this is what we are moving along this direction. We are moving along with this direction. So how this is exactly, how exactly the flow properties are varying, that is what our interest in this one. How exactly the flow properties are varied above this one, that is our interest here in this one. So that is the variation of the flow properties, that is a standard atmospheric variation. This is how. So when we are going with respect to the height in this, when you are going above the height, so that means here the standard atmospheric properties of air are also varying it. So now let us discuss how they are varying. So from our previous study or from your previous understanding, the environmental studies might have already given a picture of this one. So what exactly the different types of spheres are? So every sphere has its own fluid properties. What exactly this? Every sphere has its own fluid property. So that means the mean of the fluid. So that means the mean of the pressure, mean of temperature. If it is taken up to some height of, let us take an example of troposphere. So where it is limited up to the 11 kilometers height, where it is limited to up to the height of 11 kilometers. So up to the 11 kilometers height, there is very slight variation of the properties has been seen. But above the 11 kilometers till the 21 kilometers, from 11 kilometers to the 21 kilometers, there is no such variation is being observed in that fluid property variation. So that means it can be structured like one, it is an inclined line, another one is straight line. Again inclined line, again it is a straight line. So let me annotate it and show you. So how the properties of the fluid has been varied means it has found two types. One it is straight, one it is inclined, then straight, and again inclined, then straight, then again inclined, then again straight. incline. So this is what the structure of the atmosphere. Now what exactly this red line is indicating is when you are varying with respect to the height, when you are going above this line with respect to the height, when you are varying it, how the properties of the fluids are varying. So when you are varying this one, so the pressure is varying one side, and on the other side you can see that on the horizontal scale of this one, we can see even that the temperature is also varying, with respect to the height we are rising up, so based upon these properties only, based upon these properties of the fluid only, they have defined different types of spheres, and the interface between the two spheres, right? So that it is called as a pause. So here it is mesopause, right? And interface between a meso and the strato, so that we are calling it as a stratopause. So that means that is an interface. One side it is a strato, another side it is a meso, right? So but it will be called as a bottom side, where our reference level is always from the bottom. So if it is troposphere, the above or the pass in between is tropospause. If it is bottom to that one, if it is stratosphere, then it is called stratopause. If for the thermosphere it is a mesopause, right? Above the thermosphere it is again exosphere. It is again the exosphere which is going beyond this level. Now next question comes, as an aeronautical engineer, what is the importance for us to go with this particular standard atmospheric variation, or what is the need for us to talk about this standard atmospheric variations is because the objects which are flying in air, we should know even the properties of the air where the aircraft is flying in, so which effectively varies its aerodynamics and the propulsion factors also, and even aerodynamic and propulsive factors which are resulting in the structural. So these all can be accounted with this particular standard atmospheric variation. So that is what the importance of the standard atmospheric variation. So now the next question comes, who has given this particular standard atmospheric variation, or how did they know that this is what the standard atmosphere? So this has been given by the ISA, International Standard Atmosphere. So they have given this variation of the fluid properties above the ground level. They have given it. So taking this variation into consideration, so we have to discuss, so where exactly our crafts or design bodies can fly or float in that way, right? So, or the best example is if you have much movie in like aeronauts. So aeronauts or aeronautics, you can watch in the movie. So they have clearly picturized how this particular standard atmosphere is varying. So this is what the standard atmosphere, which is being considered above the earth level, and it is constant and it is fixed as it is given by the ISA, International Standard Atmospheric. As per the standards, we are recording this as a standard. So when we are seeing this one, so on the horizontal scale we have temperature, on the vertical scale we have the pressure, and on the vertical scale we have the pressure variation, as well as we have the geometric height variation even. Right. So we have even the geometric height variation with respect to the temperature also. Right. So this is what about the temperature variation. But as an engineers, if we talk about mathematically modeling this, if you are mathematically modeling this equation or the standard atmospheric variation, so we can say that the standard atmospheric variation is of two types. The standard atmospheric variation is only two types. So what exactly it is? It is one, it is having the slope, another one which is having a straight line. So these are only two variations we have seen. On the slope, the temperature is continuously varying, and on this vertical line, the temperature remained constant. So if you have noted it, let me annotate it there. So here you can see. So there is no temperature variation. Here also there is no temperature variation. Here also there is no temperature variation. So that means the temperature is fixed at this heights. So at which heights around it is going up to. So when it is up to 11 kilometers, that around 90 kilometers we can see. So that means at this height, started from this height to, so started from the height of above 70 and less than 90, the temperature remained constant. And if it is even above the 45 kilometers to 53 around, the temperature remained constant. And it is above even 11 kilometers to 21 kilometers, the temperature remained constant. So in this zone, the temperature has remained constant. In this zone, the temperature remained as constant. Okay. These zones the temperature remained constant. So let us see the zone where the temperature is not remained constant. Let us see the zones where the temperature has not remained constant. So in this zone, if you see, the temperature has not remained constant. In this zone, if you see, the temperature has not remained constant. So the temperature is continuously varying. Here also the temperature is continuously varying. So in overall picture, if you see, so there are two layers in this one. So to categorize generally, so one layer, one region, so not a layer, sorry, there are two regions in categorization. So one, it is a region where the temperature is continuously varying, and one region where the temperature remained constant. Now let us trace that heights where up to the temperature variation is available. See, in the first zone of troposphere, we have the temperature variation. Continuously the temperature variation is happening. Till 21 kilometers, it has remained constant. But up to the somewhere around 45 kilometers, again the temperature started varying. And again it started varying, it started fixed in between, but again in this range of above 55 to this 75 near to that one, so the temperature started varying again. In this zone the temperature is varying, right? So in these zones, the temperature is varying. In these zones the temperature is varying. Okay, so in these zones the temperature is varying on the bottom of it. So what we would like to conclude, or what we would like to bring up from this one is, we'd like to say that, so there are, when we are mathematically modeling the standard atmospheric zones, there are only two regions which we have noticed. So, but prior to that one, let us talk about this hydrostatic equation. Let us take this hydrostatic equation, which is given by dP. So just now we have said that it is dP is equal to rho into G into H. This is what an hydrostatic equation. So the hydrostatic equation is dP. So that is a variation of, sorry, here I need to correct it. Yes. So the hydrostatic equation states that dP is equal to rho GH. But so taking this hydrostatic equation, so now why hydrostatic equation is being considered here in this one? Because there is a variation of the pressure with respect to the altitude. So to address that particular problem, I've taken the hydrostatic equation in this. So I have taken the hydrostatic equation and taking that hydrostatic equation. So what I have done is, so next step, I have divided the hydrostatic equation with a perfect gas law equation. So what is the perfect gas law equation? Is P is equal to rho RT. P is equal to rho R, that is where R is the universal gas constant, and T is the temperature. So perfect gas law equation. This is perfect gas law equation, right? So I have considered the two equations to model mathematically the variation of the standard atmosphere. So initially I have taken the hydrostatic equation, that is dP is equal to rho GH. That is the hydrostatic equation we have, and we have a perfect gas law. That is P is equal to rho GH. Sorry, perfect gas law, P is equal to rho RT. So P is equal to rho RT, that is, so that it is rho, where the rho represents the density and the R is the universal gas constant and T is the temperature. So what I have done is, I have divided my hydrostatic equation by the perfect gas law equation. So I have divided my perfect hydrostatic equation with the perfect gas law equation, as I would like to link up the pressure and the temperature relation. I would like to obtain that one. So what I have done is, I have divided with a hydrostatic equation with a perfect gas law equation, so which has resulted in this equation. So that is nothing but dP by P. dP by P is equal to rho gets cancelled. So that is G. So where G, we are writing it as a G naught. So that is considering that gravitational constant. So I have divided, then we will get G into dH by RT. So that is the equation I have resulted when I am dividing the perfect gas law equation with So when the hydrostatic equation is divided by the perfect gas law equation, this is what now. Well, now what is the point of dividing is as the pressure is varying, and we know that the perfect gas law equation is also resulting with the pressure and the temperature relation. So the main objective of this mathematical modeling is to relate the pressure, temperature, and density of the standard atmospheric variation. So the standard atmospheric variation, I'd like to link and I would like to obtain I'd like to obtain the relation in between this, right? So to obtain that relation only, the objective is going. So as far as the atmospheric, as far as the standard atmosphere is being considered, just now we have discussed that. So the standard atmospheric variation when we see, so they can be categorized into two regions. One it is the gradient region, another one is an isothermal region. So one it is a gradient region, one other one is a isothermal region. Better to call it as a regions instead of saying it as a layers. Layers we have already made it, right? So one it is a gradient layer, another one is isothermal layer. But what we have in the standard graph is that we have on the vertical side, so that is the pressure variation or the height variation. Pressure variation and a height variation on the vertical scale, and on the horizontal scale we have the temperature variation, and on the horizontal scale we have the temperature variation. Okay. Similarly, when we see in the isothermal zone, when we see the isothermal region, so for that the graph plotted here in this one, we have on the vertical scale we have the height variation and the pressure variation, so and the temperature variation on the horizontal scale. So this is not a new thing which I have plotted here, but this is from your previous discussion what we have. So I'd love to obtain. So mathematically how to, so the exactly I don't want to go every time go with what is at this particular height, what is the variation of it. So why do I need to go for that one? So I'm mathematically modeling the equation. I'd like to make my own equation or mathematically model the standard atmospheric variation. So what I have considered is the atmospheric variations are being considered into the two regions. One it is a gradient region, another one is a isothermal region. So in that again I have taken the standard equation which has obtained by dividing the hydrostatic equation with the perfect gas law equation. Which is obtained by dividing the perfect gas law by dividing the equation of hydrostatic equation divided by the perfect gas equation. So in both I have brought this equation now. So on this graph, let us discuss one by one. So let us talk about the gradient layer. So in the gradient layer, yes, fine. So in the gradient layer, we have that it has an inclination. It has an inclination on that one, and above that one, it has an inclination. Above that one, it is again maintaining the straight line. So as far as the gradient layer, the definition of the gradient region or the gradient layer is that where it has a definite slope. So that means always the slope can be defined for the gradient layers. And on the other side, for isothermal layer where the temperature remained constant. So in the gradient layer, always the properties would be varying. And in the isothermal layer, the temperature remained constant. As in the definitions of the isothermal is considered, the temperature remained constant. And in the gradient layers, so that it is having a definite slope in that. So here we can see that there is a slope available in the gradient region, whereas the isothermal regions we don't have that slope. It is a straight line. It's a straight line. So that means the temperature remained constant in this zone. So when we are talking about this gradient region, so that means it has a slope. So what exactly the slope can be addressed with? So if I'm taking the vertical height as h, if I'm taking my vertical height variation as h instead of p, if I h and the p both I have in this one. So if I'm taking my h, so that is the points in between. So that is the slope for this particular zone. The slope for this particular zone or for this region can be given as dt by dh. Now what exactly this a is representing here in this one? So what is the new term? One new term has come in this. What is the a is here in this one is the a is defined as a lapse rate. A is defined as a lapse rate. So here, so we have introduced one more new one, that is a A. So where the A defines the lapse rate of this particular gradient region. So we don't have this slope in the isothermal zone, so no need to discuss about the slope related to this one, as it has only the vertical lines, as it is the red is indicated that is being taken out in the isothermal zone. Right. So what exactly this lapse rate is? The lapse rate is giving you the ratio of the temperature variation on this scale, right? Or on this graph. So this resultant, variation of this particular slope, it is given by this lapse rate. It is given by the lapse rate, that is A is equal to dt by dA. This is simply the slope of that. So the lapse rate is fixed for each level which we are going. So that is for the different spheres, the different lapse rate we need to consider, and it is being already structured into the problem. Okay, so here the A is defined as a lapse rate. So gradient region and isothermal region. Mathematically model these equations. Let us mathematically model these equations of a gradient and the isothermal regions. Let us mathematically model the regions of gradient and the isothermal regions. Right. So first let us go for the gradient regions. First let us go for the gradient region. Then we will go for the isothermal region. So first let us derive the gradient region and let us derive then we will derive the isothermal regions. Right. So whereas coming to the gradient region, so one point we have to remember that is the temperature varies linearly with respect to the height, and there is a defined lapse rate in this one, and the conditions and the layer base, that is H1 P1 and rho 1 T1 represents, that is H1 is the initial point density and T1 is the initial point temperature. Variation. So how do we mathematically model the variation in the isothermal region? So when as considered in the isothermal region, let us bring back our equation of the equation which is hydrostatic equation, that is actually we have divided with a perfect gas law equation. So bringing in the equation from the previous one, so that is dp by p is equal to minus g naught by r t minus g naught by r t into dh. As this, so now in this region the temperature is remained constant, so the temperature is not varying, and moreover in the isothermal regions the temperature remained constant along this particular line, so that is along the straight line, so the temperature is not at all varying. So this is a temperature line, so it remained constant, and this is the height which is varying along this particular, and height and the pressure both are varying in this direction. Okay, height and the pressure both are varying in this particular direction. So when you are linking this equation, so now to obtain the variation overall along this particular length, to obtain the length from this total variation, so what we are doing is we are integrating it on the both the sides by r2 into h2 minus h1. That is what the solution we have obtained here in this one. And as the pressure, as the density, as the temperature is not varying here in this case, the rho 2 by rho 1, it will be equal. The perfect gas law when we are applying it, so we will be getting the same variation for the density also. So the pressure density will be varying same in this particular one when it is for the isothermal region. Only in the gradient region, the temperature and the pressure and the density will be varying differently.